Hey guys, here's a video to help you out with the homework for April 1st. So we're given the vertex form and now it wants us to graph it. So let's go ahead and follow along with the steps that we have over here. Now notice this says f of x, okay? I like to replace that f of x with a y. So whenever I'm given the equation, so here's number 4, gave me the equation, I like to write vertex form above it. So y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. That way I can quickly look and see what numbers match with which letters. So let's look over here at our notes. Step 1. Use the a value to determine if the graph should open upward, which means a positive a, or down, which is a negative a. So I'm going to look at the number in my a spot. Well, here's my a. It's on the right on the outside of my parentheses, so if I go straight up below it, the number in my A spot is a 4. That is a positive 4, so that tells me for step 1, my graph is going to open up. You can draw an arrow pointing up. You can write the word up. I just personally like arrows. Number 2, find the vertex, HK, and the axis of symmetry, which is x equals h. So now I'm going to go over here. And again, I want my HK. So HK is going to be my vertex. Well, notice here's my H. However, this is a negative H. So that means take the opposite of. So if I go right below it, I have a positive 1. So I'm going to take the opposite of that, which is a negative 1. Then here I have my K, and it's a plus K, so that just says take whatever is in this spot. So when I look below it, there's a negative 4. I'm not changing it, I'm just keeping it. So negative 1, negative 4. That is my vertex, or my HK. It also wants my axis of symmetry, which is x equals h. Well, I now know my h was right here, my negative 1. So my axis of symmetry is x equals negative 1. I'm going to pause for a moment here. I'm going to go over to my graph and I'm going to go ahead and graph some of this information. So, negative 1, negative 4. Notice on my y-axis, or my x-axis, I apologize. This is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. It's counting by 2's. So when I go to negative 1, I'm going to be in the middle of this box here. So negative 1, negative 4, I'm going to go ahead and put a point there. Let's make this a little bit thicker. Let's see if that works a little better. There we go. So there's my point. My axis of symmetry tells me that everything is going to mirror this point. So I'm going to go ahead and change my color here for you guys. Draw a vertical, so a straight up and down line. That shows my axis of symmetry, that straight up and down line there. So step 1, step 2. Now let's see what we need to do for step 3. Find the y-intercept by plugging 0 in for x. So I'm going to relook at this equation here at the bottom. Instead of this x here, I'm just going to put a 0. So I have y equals 4. Instead of that x, I'm putting a 0. And then I'm going to solve using order of operations. Order of operations tells me PEMDAS, so parentheses first. Inside of my parentheses, I have 0 plus 1, which is 1. Next in PEMDAS, you have your parentheses, then your exponents. Well, I have a 1 squared here. 1 squared is just like saying 1 times 1, which is 1. After exponents, you go to multiplication or division. I have some multiplication right here. This is 4 times 1, which is 4. And I still have this minus 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. So now that tells me that when I put a 0 in for my x, I get a 0 for my y. So a 0 for my x, I get a 0 for my y. I can now pause and I can graph that. 0, 0 is going to be right here. Now I can go ahead and use my axis of symmetry to help me mirror this. So if this is my axis of symmetry, I went over half a box to get to this red dot. I go over back to my axis of symmetry. I go over half a box. I'm going to put a dot there as well. Everything has to mirror that line. Step 4 says to find my x-intercepts. Well, for this one, I don't need to find them. I already have them. They are both right here. So now I can go ahead and graph this. I'll connect my dots to make my parabola or my U. I want to go down and back up. Alright guys, I hope this video was able to help. Remember, the only reason why step 3 helped me with step 4 was because my y-intercept is also one of my x-intercepts. But after you graph a point, always mirror it on your axis of symmetry. Alright, have a great day. As always, give us a call or email if you need any help.